Sounds good, guys. Let's just wait for a minute here, then I'll get started, okay? Sweet. What can I expect a change in the current red depressed looking chart? Yeah, sorry, man. I cannot give you any investment suggestions. But yeah, trust me, we're doing our best here, trying to make the project thrive. So we'll see in the long run, okay? Yeah, we do have some good news. Okay. Guys, let's wait for like 2 more minutes and I'll get started. Yeah. Yeah, you can ask me some questions right now if you want, while we're waiting. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to introduce myself today as well. So that's nice. You have quite a bit of stuff to go over today. Now, we're probably not going to have any burn at this point. We are going to have lockups though, which we'll announce soon. Cool, all right. So we're probably going to get started right now. Then we'll see. Others running POB. No, we're probably the first one to mention the concept. The difference between token circulating supply. Yeah, there's a problem with CoinMarketCap circulating supply. It's supposed to be larger, slightly larger. I think the number announced on Binance and Huobi is actually correct. We're actually talking to CoinMarketCap to figure that out. It took them a little time to respond, so it will give us some time. We'll figure that out. So cool. All right, guys. This is Jimmy, the co-founder of IOST. It's been a while since we talked last time. I'm actually currently on a trip in Asia right now. So glad to announce that we're actually setting up 2 full-time teams in both Korea and Japan this month to actually help us, with multiple things, including partnerships, business development, marketing, and technical stuff. Unfortunately, I'm actually having a pretty bad fever right now since yesterday, actually. Hopefully it's not the flu, but pardon me if I'm not on my A game today. I'll try my best though, since I just took the pills. So yeah, during our last talk, we talked about the vision of the Internet of Services. For people who actually didn't get a chance to watch it, you can check out our first video published in your YouTube channel. So today's live streaming will be a little bit more special. Before we cover major updates and technical development within the last month, I think it's also the time for me to finally introduce myself to you guys, since we got a little bit extra time today. And hopefully, I'll have the time to cover a few other team members of ours. If not, we'll talk about them next time. So, okay, about myself. Okay, where do I get started? I was born in China. Went to one of the best high schools in Beijing. In my last year in high school, I think after taking my SAT and finished writing out my college application essays, I started my first company with my friend Ray, who is also a co-founder of IOST. So we've been friends for a long time, yeah. Back then, the company we started was a travel agency company. And, in order to go to a college in the United States, students, you actually have to take the SAT. But there's no SAT test center in mainland China, not in Beijing, not anywhere in mainland China. So, in order to go to a college in the United States, you have to take the SAT, right? But so, all the students actually have to fly to Hong Kong to take the test. So we started to, organize hundreds of students who want to take the SAT, get the group airline tickets and hotel room, at a discounted rate, sell them individually, and make profits from the price difference. And in the meantime, since most of international students take SAT multiple times, we also took sponsorships from SAT tutoring schools, right? Say if they paid us 100K, they got to send a teacher to Hong Kong along with their students, so they could actually do some advertisement about their tutoring service. So that went actually really well. That went really, really well. It made us a decent amount of money in a year. Actually a lot of money for me back then since I was only like 17 years old. So I was really happy with that. One interesting story here is that I'm sure some of you guys probably heard of Xiaolai Li, right? So Xiaolai is the founder of Yin Blockchain. He's also the leading investor of EOS, one of her leading investors at IOST as well. The rumor says that he's got the most amount of Bitcoins in China, probably over 100K. So he was actually doing the same business back then in Beijing. And in the meantime, he was an English teacher who was famous for tutoring SAT and college application essays. Lots of friends of mine were actually students back then, including myself. So I think that was the year of 2010 or 2011. Bitcoin was mad cheap then. That's probably the time he bought out his Bitcoins. Guy is such a visionary. Unfortunately, that he didn't tell us anything about Bitcoin back then. Otherwise, I would have invested without a doubt. Well, I'm not sure I can hold it all the way to today, but I would definitely invest. The concept of this thing is just like way too interesting, right? On the other hand, if I bought Bitcoin at $1 and sold at 10 or 100, probably feel worse today. So who knows? But yeah, so back to the story. Because I've been programming since the age of 9, I decided to major in mathematics and computer science without a doubt in college. So first year in college, I started my second business. It's a website for students to exchange class notes. I've got a lot of traction there. Business got acquired in my sophomore year. I've also, scored my first pot of gold in my life. After that, I kind of got addicted to creating new things and, make them thrive. So basically, a few months later, junior year in in college, Emory University. A few months later, after I sold my first business, I started a second business called Like Plum with my friend Richard. So Like Plum back then was a paid Q&A marketplace for knowledge. So what it means is that you can pay some people certain amount of money in exchange for his answer to your question. So at the time, we literally had lawyers, doctors, tutors, mechanics, and lots of professionals online that could be paid to answer questions, right? We applied to Y Combinator, got into a final interview, sat down face-to-face with Paul Graham. Back then, he was still the president of YC before he headed to Sam Altman. So Paul told us that he liked the idea a lot, but he thought the concept was way too broad. Like starting a platform targeting 30 plus industries isn't the right way of doing it, right? Like even Amazon started by selling books online. So instead, we should probably target a niche market and expand from there. So that was a good suggestion, right? So we got back and looked at the platform. We asked ourselves a simple question. So which category are we getting the most amount of traction, right? Like which one has the highest retention? The answer was very straightforward back then. It was online tutoring. And, students among all the group of our customers have the most amount of questions. You couldn't get into a lawsuit every single day, but you could have quiz or homework every day, right? So that's the time we decided to pivot and rebrand the business called Study Pool. So my senior year in college, we took some investment of VCs from Silicon Valley and New York City, relocated the business from Atlanta, Georgia to Silicon Valley because it's a lot easier to recruit people there. Unfortunately, I couldn't drop out of college due to the green card application I was going through back then. So I had to fly back and forth between East Coast and West Coast every single week. Because mathematics and computer science class were relatively easy to me, and normally they don't require attendance. So what I did was I just learned all of them myself, skipped all the classes besides exams, and decided to stay in Silicon Valley for as long as I could. However, though, there were writing classes and language classes that actually require attendance. So what I normally did was I actually had to fly back and forth all the time. So I normally fly from Silicon Valley to, fly from Atlanta to Silicon Valley on Thursday afternoon after my writing class. I went back to Atlanta on Monday morning, right after, right after work, and just go to my Korean class directly. So those 2 years were super exciting, but they were also kind of a nightmare since I, couldn't really get that much sleep. And normally I would work 12 hours a day in addition to school hours. So I remember, one of the best things I could have, I could have imagined back then would be getting like a 7-hour sleep. That alone could make me happy for a little while. So, but I'm glad I've carried on and did all of that. Study Pool turned out to be a huge success. It has become a very successful company. I think until today, Study Pool is still getting a $10 million plus yearly revenue with a 40% net margin and probably like a 20 to 30% month-on-month growth. So we're doing super well. So after I graduated from college, I stayed in New York City for about 1.5 years, mainly to help Study Pool expand its East Coast branch. So New York City is a very different city than Silicon Valley, right? Like some old money there. I had quite a bit of culture shock over there, but soon I got used to it. That's also when I reunited with Ray, who was doing real estate business in New York City after quitting his job at Kayak as a data scientist. So we became neighbors again, and we started to hang out and trade cryptos together. So I think there was this unusual day. Ray and I, we just went to the 7-Eleven store downstairs and noticed this interesting machine in 7-Eleven, right? It's actually called Kimi. I think that's probably the name, yeah. So what it does is that it actually helps you duplicate your keys. So if you put your keys in, it gives you a copy of your key, right? So I found it fascinating, but I didn't pay much attention to it because I don't think people duplicate their keys that often. I thought the market size was too small. But then look it up on Crunchbase. Apparently that this company, has raised over $100 million in capital and has a $500 million valuation. And they did that, within a year, actually 2 years, probably something like that. Yeah. So, this is amazing, right? I was kind of shocked. I didn't think that a small traditional industry like this could be that profitable, and it truly inspired me that a lot of the traditional industries we were not paying attention to still have this huge room to be improved, and they're relatively uncompetitive, and they could have huge opportunities inside because people tend to ignore them, right? So especially in like developing countries like India or China, they're like way more traditional industry that are extremely outdated, compared to developed country like United States or Japan. But at the point of my life, after 4 years working at Electron and Study Pool, the business is getting more and more stable and organized. Plus that, I haven't gone back to Asia for like over 3 years, and I'm like the only child of my family. So I decided to go back to Asia and explore my next venture. So, I had like one clear goal this time is to revolutionize the outdated traditional industry that, needs to be updated. With that in mind, I co-founded Dora with my friends in Asia. That's actually where we focus on building all types of intelligent kiosks and smart hardwares, including, photo booth, printing kiosks, vending machines, lottery machines, and so on. We have all types of them. And we've got almost 300 employees, 3 rounds of funding of $20 million within a year. And we'll build partnerships with 7-Eleven, Lawson's, Family Marts, and I think a lot of other, major retailers in China and in Asia as well. Plus like 500 plus universities as well. So as of now that, we've got over actually 10,000 kiosks everywhere, we have become profitable. We're getting over 100,000 orders per day. Since the development of Dora is actually highly dependent on its sales and business development, it's not really about the technology part of it. It's more about, who you're partnering with and where you're allowed to put your kiosks and, without paying a super expensive rent so you can make the money back. So starting like mid-2017, we've handed Dora to a dedicated professional sales team, where they can actually help us, handle the expansion of Dora and also the management of it. In the meantime, the core team, we've been trying super hard, trying to think out of the box and think about, how to actually turn traditional industries into a more advanced system, right? Obviously, putting kiosks everywhere is not the only answer, right? It's not the only way to revolutionize. It's not the only only way to overturn the traditional industries. So we want to do this in a more thorough way, right? I mean, that's actually how IOST has come to us. In fact, that I've been trading and mining crypto for a long time. First time I've heard of Bitcoin was in 2013. Not too early, but in 2013. That was a few $100s already, so it's not really that cheap. My college professor at Emory, Chinggis Gunay, brought Bitcoin to my life. So he was actually, one of my CS professors, but he's also a friend of mine. We were really close back then. He told me a lot of things about Bitcoin, and I found it fascinating, right? I read a white paper, like the concept a lot. So I've been basically, buying Bitcoin since then. I truly thought that, that's the first time in the human industry people get to control their own assets without actually carrying some heavy metals, right? I think that's fascinating. There wasn't any specific concept of blockchain back then. Ethereum wasn't there yet. There's not a smart contract, but I just like the concept of Bitcoin. So anyway, I started buying Bitcoin since 2013. Proud to say that till today, I've never sold any single one of them that's in my cold wallet. So unfortunately, I've made a huge mistake on Ethereum though, although I made some money from Bitcoin. So my college roommate Henry told me to buy Ethereum when it was like $1. But after looking into it, although I thought there were a lot of problems with it, I really like the concept of smart contracts. So I bought and mined a lot of them, close to 6 figures of Ethereum. That was a shame. Because I sold all of them not too long after the DAO attack, when it was like $12 or $10-ish, I forgot. I've always thought that there will soon be many protocols like Ethereum, but with less bugs, or offer better infrastructure, say like higher throughput. But I didn't think that Ethereum soon has become a tool for other people to issue tokens. Especially in 2017. I don't even think that Vitalik himself thought of this as well, because I know he sold a lot of his ethers too when it was cheaper. But yeah, this is life. So this has told me one thing, that you actually have to be patient with this type of things. It took Bitcoin 8 years to get here, and you can't expect something like Ethereum, just born to be perfect. Right? Fortunately, I bought some ethers back from $50 to $20 after I noticed the trend of ICO, so I don't feel too bad right now. But yeah, since I truly believe that a lot of things can be improved on Ethereum, and the world totally deserves a better infrastructure, on the second half of 2017, we started to conduct researchers, and basically, we're trying to figure out, how to figure out a better infrastructure for say like a better Ethereum, or a better infrastructure for all the protocols we are building, like dApps, right? So that's when we started to work on IOST. So previous video we actually talked about the vision of IOST, so I'm not going to give out the full speech here. In short, we want to build a debt-friendly blockchain that's secured and fast, and we want to build something that actually works, right? I don't think issuing tokens should be the only usage for blockchain, right? Obviously, that's not even Ethereum's original goal. And I think with all these people that are building dApps right now, they would need multiple infrastructures in the future that can support different industries, to actually make blockchain useful, right? Without those infrastructure, we can build powerful dApps, right? If crypto kittens can block Ethereum for days, that means someone needs to stand out and actually build something that actually works. So with that vision in mind, we've gathered a very strong team for IOST. We've got friends from Princeton, Harvard, Tsinghua, Johns Hopkins, UPenn, Berkeley, Stanford. You guys can check out some of our team members online from IOST.io. Please understand that to protect and respect the privacy for some of the team members, we only showed part of our team there. In December 2017, we were also able to raise 35,000 ethers from almost 40 institutional investors within weeks. Again, you can check them out on our website, so I'm not going to repeat their names. Some of them were the lead investors of EOS, Omisa.Go, Telegram, and many other projects you may have heard of. So since we're moving extremely fast since then, in the last 2 months, we've been through a lot of things. So I'm going to give you guys some updates on it right now. So number one is we got listed on Huobi.pro and OKEX right away after our private sale. So those two are the largest crypto exchanges in China. and we've been getting about $100 million trading volume in the first week. I think like two, 3 years ago, Huobi and LK were probably taking care of like 80 or 90% of trading volumes globally. But yeah, nowadays there are just like way too many exchanges. So yeah, second thing is about 2 weeks after that, Binance got in touch with us and we got listed on Binance. I remember it was a crazy night. I was actually in San Francisco that night after attending an event at Google. We didn't even know that Binance listed us. Like we knew that they're going to list us, but we didn't know it's going to be that fast. So that night was crazy. We got over $700 million trading volume in 24 hours. That was insane. Again, thank you for your support. Besides Binance, we've got listed on a few other exchanges like CX.com, Big One, Robinhood, KuCoin, OTC, BTC, and so on. Please be assured that we are seriously, consistently talking to multiple big name exchanges all over the world, and a few partnerships are coming soon. I can't give you guys a timeline or names or anything. It could be fast or it could take a little while. I know that some of you guys want to trade IOST, but you don't have a convenience place to go to yet. But let's just be patient right now because this is a long-term project, and eventually trust us, we're going to get listed on almost all of them. So just give us some time. As of now, if you really want to buy or sell IOST, maybe get on Binance or Huobi, and that's probably convenient enough as of now. But yeah, we're working hard on this. On the social media side, we've got tremendous support. We've got over 200K followers on Twitter, over 100K people on our Telegram groups right now. Again, since Telegram has removed the 50K user limit, for anyone who's still in your second Telegram group right now, please join us on the main group, the first group. That's where we will be releasing news in the future. Okay, so it's easier for us to manage it. Also, I think our moderation team has just built 14 Telegram groups in different languages like Japanese, Korean, Chinese, Russian, Turkish, and so on, right? So please check out our latest Medium posts for links and definitely join them. We're trying to build a global community here. And we do need your help, okay? So help us with that. Spread the word, have your friends join them. And in the next coming weeks, we're going to set up multiple Twitter accounts as well to support different languages. And on the team member advisor side, we've got multiple new team members, advisors on board. We've made multiple technical hires from the best universities all over the world in multiple countries, San Francisco, Japan, Korea, Beijing. So our website will also be updated with their information later on. And we've also got important advisors on board, including Ryan Bobinski from Code Academy, Ken Huang from Huawei, and we're going to announce a few more and in the next week or so. Stay tuned. So as of the events and TED Talks, we've held multiple events in SF last month to help people understand what IOST is. We're also going to host a few more in Korea, Japan, and San Francisco in the next month, actually in March, just to help people, just to bring more people on board and recruit more talents. On the technical side, Terry released a video about POB, Proof of Believability, or Consensus Protocol last week. We're going to start recording more videos, but please understand that our engineers are super busy, even during the Lunar New Year time. And, it's actually quite time consuming for us to record those videos. So, we might be a little bit slow on this type of things, but we're going to try our best to do more. Progress-wise, this is probably, something you guys care the most about. So we've made a lot of progress here. First of all, we're still planning to launch our test network in Q2 2018 and hopefully launch our mainnet by the end of this year, which is actually 3 months ahead of our original roadmap. I can't guarantee that though, but we're going to do our best. I understand that a lot of you guys want to see the result as soon as you can, but honestly, all of you guys know that a lot of projects these days are bullshit. Building a blockchain that has no difference between any other existing stuff is meaningless, right? Like we want to do something that's actually meaningful. We want to make a difference, so please be patient. For every single project that's top 10 on CoinMarketCap, I think it took them some time to get there. We're not exception, right? Like, I can't give you guys any investment suggestions here, but I can tell you one thing. This is the thing I learned from Ethereum is that it takes time for greater returns, okay? And on the other hand, so our research and development team has been testing different solutions to solve the scalability problem, including but not limited to DAG, EVS, efficient distributed sharding, and so on. So we were actually able to test the MVP version of EVS. So we've got 8,000 TPS with 15 shards and 2,000 plus nodes. Note that this is a test result run on the AWS server, on the Amazon EC2 server. So in the future, all the tests will also be performed under real network conditions as well. Fortunately, due to the partnership with Dora, who actually operates tens of thousands of intelligent kiosks in Asia with PCs inside, we can actually get tremendous amount of help to test out solutions under the real world network condition, which I think is crucial and super helpful. So in the meantime, we also tested the MVP version of the POB system, the POB mechanism. We're still in the process of developing and optimizing it since it's actually a complicated system. For people who are not familiar with the concept, believability of a node is calculated by based on its contribution, based on those contribution and behaviors. The fairness of it is ensured with randomness. In order to learn more about this, you can read our technical white paper or watch our video. That's probably the first video. Actually, sorry, that's the previous video published in the channel by Terry. So yeah, that's basically the updates and a little bit background about myself today. So before we wrap this up, I actually need some help of you guys. Later on, I'm gonna launch a pool on Twitter so you guys can help us come up with a slogan. We're trying to figure out the slogan, like a catchy one-liner for IOST for people to actually remember it better. So we've got a few candidates here, just to give you guys an idea on what we're looking for. Number one is, that's the first candidate, okay? It's called a secured and scalable blockchain for intelligent services. Maybe it's slightly longer, right? It's kind of long. Number two is blockchain on highway, because we're fast, okay? Number three is blockchain on 4G. Okay, this one is harder to understand, I think. It means that, back in the age of GPRS, since the network is slow, a lot of the apps in your phone today couldn't be used back then, right? Because, it's the same thing for blockchain right now. The IOST is like the 4G, LTE, 5G technology. By providing a higher throughput and better scalability, we actually get to make a lot of impossible things possible in the future. So that's one thing, blockchain on 4G. Might be too complicated though. So yeah, if you guys have more sexy slogans, you can, if you think that's a better, just let me know. Feel free to tweet about them. We're gonna actually give out some IOSTs as bonus. So I'll tweet about the specifics about this campaign on Twitter, probably in a few hours. So yeah, that's probably it for today. Thanks for watching. So if you haven't, followed our Twitter or join our Telegram groups today, please do. That's where we'll be announcing our future announcements. And before I say goodbye, let me see if there's any questions I can answer. Building an infrastructure for a decentralized world. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, we want to actually say something that's kind of, stands out. I like the concept of Ethereum. They say smart contracts, 2 words, easy to remember. We can say something like intelligent service, stuff like that. But we'll figure that out. But yeah, anyway, guys, just let us know, okay? Yeah, thank you for support. Okay, sweet, guys. So that's about it, okay? I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully, in a week or so, I'll have Ray actually talk about, the rest of the team as well, give you a full introduction on them, and let you guys know what's going on. But sorry, I've been having a really bad fever right now, so I'm feeling kind of out of it right now. So probably gonna go, okay? All right. Yeah, trust me, there's not whales. We have some investors. I know they got in at an early stage, but they also help us out with exchange and everything. This is a long-term project, so let's just try to carry on and figure out what's going on. Okay, we're gonna do our best and try to build this project. Okay, cool. All right, thanks, guys. Nice to meet you guys. All right, thank you. Bye bye.